Chapter 81. You don't mind if I kill them, do you? You are listening at novelfull.audio. Why are you looking at me like that? Lu Yuan raised the corner of his mouth and asked knowingly. You kid. Changqing gritted his teeth and stood up. Are you trying to amuse me? You would have dealt with it a long time ago, right? Sir, do you think I'm too idle? Lu Yuan spread his hands. I've told you before that my talent is quite good. Taiwan Novel Network. What a ghost. Even if you have good talent, you can't finish the lecture. My senior brother who learned it the fastest in Trinity Sect took 2 days. Even if you are a genius, you have to memorize everything first. His forehead was twitching wildly. He wanted to go up and kick the opponent now. That expression was so irritating. Didn't I say that I have a photographic memory and a memory of what I have heard? You. There are indeed no signs of tempering on his body before. SwordWielder spoke decisively at this time. Changqing was dumbfounded now, with her mouth open, staring blankly at Lu Yuan and her master, not knowing what to say. SwordWielder did not bother Changqing, but said directly, I have another method here, do you want to try it? Lu Yuan's eyes moved slightly, but his expression remained unchanged. I wonder what kind of technique it is. Trinity Vipassana. SwordWielder's fairy tale has fallen, and the purity and evergreen look at it at the same time, but he hesitates to speak. This scene fell in Lu Yuan's eyes, and he shook his head directly. I'm satisfied with the escape, but if I ask for more, I'm going too far. SwordWielder smiled. Since you are willing to express yourself and I have given you a stage, why did you suddenly quit? Don't worry, this is really just a Vipassana method, which is clearer than ordinary methods. The main reason is that you give too much and you don't accept it reliably. Let's do this. If you accept my method of flicking the sword, I will learn from it. How about it? SwordWielder hesitated slightly. Okay. Another half an hour later, it was already dark outside the window. He was sitting cross-legged on the inner edge of the private room. The light between his eyebrows gradually brightened, and then disappeared. At the same time, Lu Yuan seemed to have gained a third perspective, and the blood flowing in his body. The beating heart is so clear, as long as he moves his mind, the perspective can move to the corresponding position. Moreover, Lu Yuan could notice that as he deepened his cultivation of the technique, he could see more carefully. Even Lu Yuan has begun to have ideas to turn his inner view into outer appearance. After testing for a while, Lu Yuan relaxed and opened his eyes again. What caught my eye was SwordWielder's warm smile. Lu Yuan, how about you come to Sanyi? Next to them, Qingzhen and Changqing also had bright eyes. Ahem, thank you Master Zhuo for your kindness. As I said before, Longhu Mountain is more suitable for me. Lu Yuan felt strange. What's going on? He promised to be cautious when accepting disciples, to observe and to follow the rules. Why are you opening your mouth now? That's it. SwordWielder was thoughtful. Lu Yuan's eyelids suddenly twitched and he couldn't help but remind him, you are immortal dame. Don't worry, I, SwordWielder, can't do anything to force a disciple. SwordWielder waved his hand. At this time, Qingzhen and Changqing couldn't help but come up to persuade him. Only then did Lu Yuan realize that the contemplation just now was a preparatory method for practicing the 3 levels of reverse rebirth. It would only take a day for quick beginners, but it would also take at least half a day to achieve the level of a glorious light appearing on a square-inch spiritual platform like Lu Yuan just did. Moon. They believed that Lu Yuan was born to practice reverse rebirth, and he only gave up after being rejected for a long time. In order to avoid being disturbed again, Lu Yuan chose to close his eyes and meditate. Although he deliberately showed his intention before, he also deliberately prolonged the time. In fact, the moment Changqing finished explaining the general outline of the exercise, he already understood it. After getting started, I deliberately held back my hand and delayed the display until half an hour later. The same is true for the Vipassana book, but as of now, he may still have shown too much. You have to be careful next time. After all, this is not the world's most prosperous place. Without the strength of heaven, you may really fall over. Thoughts flashed through his mind, and Lu Yuan's heart became hot. Escape from the light was of great help to him, and it helped him break through the barrier of life training in this world. Just like the high wall blocking the road ahead, a brick was removed at this moment. From this moment on, Lu Yuan had the ability to tear down an entire high wall without the need for others to teach him. So how do you temper your life? To the extreme of emptiness, keep quiet. The creation of nature depends on the heart, and the creation of destiny depends on the body. The spirit follows the chi follows the heart follows the mind, and the body and mind are naturally in harmony with the Tao. In vernacular terms, first of all, the state of mind must reach emptiness and tranquility, and secondly, the integration of body and mind cannot be deliberate. After that, the spirit of the soul must follow chi and run in the body according to specific rituals and meridians. These specific rituals are very important and will prompt people to enter a kind of harmony. The state of seeking righteousness. Maintaining this state, human life will be tempered by itself and the nature of heaven and earth. After understanding this, Lu Yuan was very excited because it was so similar to the last second stage of his time in Swordsman. However, it can also be understood that what Taoism cultivates is the natural Tao, and all methods lead to the same goal through different paths. At this moment, the terrifying realization made his body tremble slightly. There were too many thoughts that popped up in an instant, and he wanted to make major changes to the technique immediately, but thinking about where he was at this moment, he forced himself away from that feeling and missed the past days even more. With a sigh in his heart, Lu Yuan stood up and glanced at the three people who were practicing with their eyes closed. Carrying the kettle, he softly opened the box door and walked out. The night outside the window is like ink, and in the corridor of the private room, the aroma of various foods is mixed. He came to the water supply area in the carriage and picked up the thermos. Luckily, there was still half a bottle of water. You have to know that in this era, if you want to drink water on the train, you have to boil it on the spot in the tea stove car, and then the attendant will distribute it to the water supply areas in each carriage. Generally, the amount is very small. Lu Yuan poured himself some hot water and checked the safety at the same time. Just then, a man and a woman walked by. Both of them were dressed as scholars. The man was in his 40s and looked like a teacher, and the woman was in her 20s and looked like a student. This was nothing. What really attracted Lu Yuan's attention was the language they spoke, Japanese, and it just so happened that in his previous life, Lu Yuan chose Japanese as a foreign language elective. There was no other reason. It was simple, easy to learn, and there were credits. When the two sides crossed just now, although the two spoke in low voices, he still heard the key words. Surveying. Map. The two whispered all the way back to the compartment, and there was a young companion with glasses inside. After closing the compartment door and opening the lunchbox, they were about to eat with a smile. Suddenly a dizziness came over me. The next second, they plunged into the lunchbox one after another. The door of the box opened at this time. Lu Yuan walked in with a kettle, and a stone in his hand suddenly hit the feng chi point on the back of the young man with glasses. The other party didn't expect that he would be discovered so quickly, and wanted to get up and hide at the first time. However, the arrival of two pressures was faster than his reaction, one acting on the spirit and the other on the body. It was the power of heaven and earth and the yin and yang domain of the five elements. The young man with glasses blushed, and at that moment he couldn't move. He was hit accurately by the stone and fainted on the spot. Since learning how to hide chi, Lu Yuan also deduced the skills of how to detect. In fact, it is very simple. Since the other party simulated himself as a lake water flow, he only needs to make the water surface ripple strangely, and he can do it whether it is a domain or borrowing the power of heaven and earth, and he will not even expose the existence of his chi. Back to the scene. After knocking the other party unconscious, Lu Yuan was still worried. He had 4 more silver needles in his hand, which he ejected one after another and pierced into the other party's fengfu, jiaji, beishu, and jianjing acupoints. Although he had not yet studied how to seal the chi, he was still very clear about how to disable a person's ability to move. The remaining 2 people, in his perception, were ordinary people, but he did not let them go either. After doing all this, Lu Yuan stepped forward and used the mind confusion technique on the Japanese dressed as a teacher. What is the purpose of your trip? Answer in Chinese. Surveying. Central China. Map. Which organization do you belong to? Japan. General Staff Headquarters. Land Survey Department. What is the purpose of surveying? Military. Strategic needs. Help realize. East Asian co-prosperity sphere. Click. Lu Yuan twisted the other party's neck and took advantage of the situation to solve the remaining two together. After doing all this, Lu Yuan smiled and turned around and said to the door, "You heard it too. As a Chinese, I really can't stand it. You don't mind if I kill them?" Chapter 82 Dragon and Tiger. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Don't mind. Search TWKN on Google. The box door opened, revealing half of Swordsman's body. "Are you worried that I would get lost and came out to look for me on purpose?" Lu Yuan turned his back to the person and was busy cleaning the scene by touching the body. Swordsman looked at the other party's skillful movements and asked, "When was the first time you killed someone?" "The first time," Lu Yuan slowed down his movements as if recalling, "it should have been when I was 6 years old." "Why kill?" "Of course I was being chased. It was quite thrilling at the time. The old beggar and I each fell to one side. He shouted to attract the man's attention. I took the opportunity to stab the man. He kicked his crotch from behind. I then choked him. Try your best to kill that person." Lu Yuan said slowly, as if he was telling an interesting story, with a lightness and nostalgia in his voice. From this message, Swordsman heard that Lu Yuan's inheritance did not come from the old beggar, but this was not important. "What happens after that?" "You mean killing people?" "Of course I've killed a lot, but I'm not murderous. If they don't provoke me, they won't be killed by me," Lu Yuan said, opening the car window and removing the 3 corpses. Looking back, he sorted out some scattered objects and money on the table. "How did you feel when you killed them?" Lu Yuan stopped, with a strange expression on his face. "What does it feel like? Do you need to feel it to kill them? Or do you think they shouldn't be killed?" Swordsman didn't say anything, just looked at him calmly, his expression neither sad nor happy. Putting the money and belongings into his bag, Lu Yuan picked up the remaining pile of surveying and mapping information on the table and handed it to Swordsman. The other party took it, glanced at it, and heard Lu Yuan say, "The Japanese surveying and mapping activities on our country's territory began as early as the end of the 19th century and the beginning of the 20th century. In 1894, the Land Survey Department of the Japanese base camp provided maps of the whole country of China and the 2 provinces of Fengtian and Zhiwei. Not long after, the Sino-Japanese War of 1894 to 1894 break out. During the Russo-Japanese War in 1904, Japan not only conducted military operations, but also secretly conducted surveying and mapping of Fushun, Shenyang, Lujiangxi, Xianmin and other places in northeast China. From 1906 to 1907, Japan sent more than 1,000 military and police agents to the Yenji area of Jilin to survey, map, and steal intelligence. In 1908, Narita Tatsunosuke, the general manager of the Japanese Traditional Chinese Academy, led more than 60 students to conduct surveying and mapping in northeast my country and Inner Mongolia. Also this year, the Japanese have drawn the comprehensive map of northern China, which is a detailed depiction of the political district map of northern China. With so much action, what do you think they're going to do next?" Swordsman frowned slightly. "How do you know this?" Why do you think an old beggar was hunted down for no reason?" Lu Yuan asked instead of answering, he made a clever graft here. "So you kill people for this?" "Maybe, but more importantly, I want to have a clear idea. Have you always been like this?" "I don't think there's anything wrong with it. Even if you knew I was at the door and might make me unhappy." Lu Yuan stared at the other person and smiled. "It's getting late, you should go back early." After the conversation between the two ended, Lu Yuan did not return to Swordsman's box. After Swordsman returned, he did not explain much when asked by the 2 apprentices. This is of course the result of Lu Yuan's choice. Even though he had realized something, he didn't like it. Regarding the apprenticeship of Longhu Mountain, he was not prepared to look for him again. In the remaining 2 days, Lu Yuan did not see the 3 people again except for handing over the flicking finger sword gang he had written. After arriving in Nanchang, he got off the car without saying hello to the 3 people and left alone. The three people who came out from behind looked at Lu Yuan's leaving figure. Zhuo didn't say anything, Qing Zhen was thoughtful, and Chang Qing was a little anxious. Master, Mr. Lu is almost gone. So what? Chang Qing suddenly choked and felt uncomfortable, but feeling the weight of the thick pile of manuscripts in his arms, he still had the courage to speak. Although that boy deserves a beating, Master, he is only 8 years old, we really don't want to help. Zhuo turned around and said, you have always had a problem with him. Why did you suddenly change? Just because of what he gave you. Changqing's face suddenly turned red, I'm just discussing the matter. Go back and copy the Qingjing Sutra 3 times as a penalty. Hearing this, Changqing's face fell instantly. After leaving the train station and looking in the direction of Longhu Mountain, the remaining straight-line distance was only over 100 kilometers. Lu Yuan hesitated for a long time, felt the energy in his body, and finally gave up the plan of flying over with Qinggong and took the water route instead. Disguising himself all the way, he took a boat down the Xinjiang River from the dock in Nanchang. After a whole day and night, he arrived near Yingtan. After quietly stuffing a few small coins into the boatman's hands, we found a small boat. It took another 6 hours to actually enter the Longhu Mountain area of Shangqing town. The wooden boat cut across the Lucy River, and with the boatman's shout, the bow of the boat landed lightly on the shore. After turning around and thanking him, Lu Yuan stepped on the bow of the boat and stepped onto solid ground. Then he took a long breath. It was really uncomfortable to sit on this boat for a long time. Pulling on his shoulder bag, he looked up and saw that Longhu Mountain was towering and straight, like a dragon and a tiger confronting each other. It was majestic, as if the most vivid brushstrokes in the world were specially drawn here. After making inquiries along the way, he walked along the mountain path into Longhu Mountain. Along the way, there were lush ancient trees and birdsong, fully displaying the vitality that should be in May. As the pace deepens, a simple and elegant building complex gradually comes into view, with red walls and gray tiles, well proportioned, and the whole is more solemn and solemn under the cover of green trees. That is the famous Longhu Mountain Tianchi Mansion. Unfortunately, a fat disciple taking a nap at the door ruined the overall serious scene. Lu Yuan was about to step forward to wake him up when he suddenly noticed something and looked behind him, dressed in white and barefoot. But it's not the dang immortals Ruotong whom I haven't seen for almost 2 days. You don't seem surprised. Lu Yuan did not answer but said, if I had chosen to look for you after getting off the car, would you not have come? Then who knows? Ruotong smiled slightly. Lu Yuan was about to say something more, but the fat Taoist priest who was napping next to him woke up at some point. When he saw the two of them, he jumped up in shock. Chiefs was. The fat Taoist priest's face was full of excitement and anxiety. Ruotong smiled and nodded, please take us to see the Heavenly Master. Ah. Oh. Okay. The fat man scratched his head and hurriedly led the way. You too, please follow me. That when you step into Tianchi Mansion, you will see the scenery on both sides of the corridor, with green pines and cypresses and numerous stone steels, which record the long history and glorious past of Tianchi Mansion. All the way forward, the three of them passed through the Yaimen and came to the main hall. They saw a strong old Taoist who was over 60 years old, wearing dark blue robes, a curly beard, and an appearance that was better than Zhang Fei's, standing there with a smile. This person is the 64th generation Heavenly Master of Longhu Mountain Heavenly Master Mansion, Zhang Jingqing. Apparently there were other trails passing by along the way. Behind him were 6 disciples who were watching the fun. 3 of them were unknown to Lu Yuan. The characteristics of the remaining 3 were too obvious. One had thick eyebrows and big eyes and was a very energetic young man. The other had big ears and was hiding behind the crowd. Looking this way, it is Tian Jinzhong and Zhang Huai. Of course, the latter has not yet been given the surname Zhang. As for the last person, he is tall, with his head tilted back, a long face and squinting eyes, a lazy smile always hanging on the corner of his mouth, and a few strands of broken hair fluttering, giving people the impression of one word, crazy. Lu Yuan noticed him at a glance. In the future, the 65th generation Celestial Master of the Longhu Mountain Celestial Master's Mansion will be the best among one best, 2 heroes and the ceiling of combat power among one person, Zhang Zhiwei, a member of the Heavenly Path. Chapter 83 Getting Started. You are listening at NovelFull.audio. Lu Yuan's gaze was naturally seen by Zhang Zhiwei at the first time. The other party blinked his left eye towards him, Lu Yuan naturally blinked his right eye back, and the other party laughed, but that was all. Taiwan Novel Network. Zhang Zhiwei was far from being as easygoing as he was later. Arrogance and confidence were almost written on his face. He had nothing to do with things that he was not interested in. It was very rare to say hello when they met for the first time, mostly because he took off his disguise and revealed the appearance of an 8-year-old child. He was looking at the disciples of the Heavenly Master, while Xuanhuan was already greeting the old Heavenly Master. Both of them were of noble status, the top existences in the world, and they were old friends. They got to the point after a few words. However, Lu Yuan did not know what the specific content of the conversation was, because they deliberately avoided him. As for the disciples of Tianshi, after the master left, Zhang Zhiwei said hello and left first. The rest of the disciples did the same. Although they could guess that Lu Yuan came to become a disciple, such things happen every year. Moreover, with the increasing unrest in recent years, there is an endless stream of people coming to become disciples. They cannot welcome them warmly every time. The reason why all 6 people from the inner sect came today was only because of Xuanhuan's face. In the end, Tian Jinzhong was the only one left in the field, and he was still talking to Lu Yuan, which was considered to be maintaining the most basic etiquette. Lu Yuan didn't care about it at all. It was human nature. He had been used to it during the years of wandering in the world of Xiaoao, and reality is not a storybook. It is impossible to go to a place where all eyes will fall on you and everyone will revolve around you. Lu Yuan has never been in a sect, but he knows that it is useless to say more. At any time, strength is the hard truth. The conversation between the two heads did not last long. When they appeared again, they were still talking and laughing. The old Taoist priest looked at Lu Yuan, without any extra special words, and said, "Lu Yuan, right? You should stay in Longhu Mountain in the future." Lu Yuan raised his hand. "Thank you, old Taoist priest, thank you, sect master Zhiwei." That the other party waved his hand, and the conversation ended. On the mountain road, Lu Yuan sent Xuanhuan down the mountain. "You are just an outer disciple, do you feel wronged?" Xuanhuan asked. Lu Yuan smiled casually. "Outer sect is normal. If the outside world knew that you, sect master Zhiwei, brought a child to Longhu Mountain, and the old Taoist priest immediately gave him the qualification of inner sect, then this would not be a slap in the face of the Taoist priest's mansion." Xuanhuan continued to face forward. "Since you know clearly, I don't need to explain too much. The outer sect is only temporary. With your talent, it is only a matter of time before you enter the inner sect. Don't be too anxious." Lu Yuan understood the hint as soon as he heard it. Was this considered a soft-hearted person telling himself in advance? He laughed and said, "So the old Tianshi wants to test me like you do. Just like you deliberately showed that attitude on the train before, just to see my reaction after getting off the train, and you didn't show up until you were in front of the Tianshi mansion." Xuanhuan was silent for a while, and generously admitted, "Lu Yuan, you are very smart, but just because you are only 8 years old, you are so smart, I don't know whether it is good or bad. Do you know how you feel to me?" Without waiting for Lu Yuan to answer, he continued, "If other disciples are uncarved jade, as teachers, we can carefully guide and patiently carve, but you give me the feeling that you are natural and can't tolerate an extra knife. Forgive me for testing you again before, but I just want to know what picture is carved on this natural gem of yours. Do you know it now? Only part of it. Have you ever thought that this may be my deliberate pandering and performance? Then are you?" Xuanhuan looked sideways. Lu Yuan shook his head. "I can be, but I don't want to be this time. That's enough. As for the rest." Xuanhuan smiled. "Let the old master worry about it." While talking, the two had already arrived at the dock at the foot of the mountain. "Let's go here, go back early, the initiation ceremony is still waiting for you." Lu Yuan looked at the other party and suggested, "To be honest, Master Zhiwei, when you accept disciples in the future, don't be too roundabout. It's good for both of us to be open occasionally. After all, not everyone is so patient and will accidentally lose a good disciple." "Really?" At this time, the boatman had already put away the rope. Swordsman stepped into the boat with his white sleeves fluttering. If you can't even pass the basic test and can't understand it, then you are not worthy of joining my Sanyi sect. Goodbye, Lu Yuan. Looking at the boat going away, Lu Yuan had a strange expression on his face and whispered, "Why do I feel that I will become a template for comparison in the future? I suddenly feel like I am doing more harm than good." Lu Yuan hurriedly got rid of this troublesome thought. Anyway, he had already made a reminder, so he set it all back to Mount Longhu. The apprenticeship ceremony also began. The three masters took the stage, and the disciples knelt down, introduced themselves, and gave lectures. At this point, Lu Yuan already had a booklet of Golden Light Mantra in his hand. After that, he offered tea and made offerings to the three treasures. After a set of procedures, Lu Yuan officially became a disciple of the Zhang sect. Taoist name, Yunyu. Master, why is it Yunyu? Do you want me to go down the mountain to wander? It's just based on your previous experience. I hope you will have a broad mind and broad wisdom in the future. Do you understand? Disciple understands. Well, go ahead, take the good things, and if you have any questions, you can ask Lu Haohao. He will live in the same room with you for the time being. When Lu Yuan found Lu Haohao, he realized that he was the fat man who was watching the door and taking a nap. Like him, he was an outer disciple, but his master was an old master, so he was considered to be a noble outer disciple. Seeing Lu Yuan, Lu Haohao's face immediately showed wrinkles of smile. "Let's go, junior brother Lu Yuan, let's eat first." "I'm here, senior brother Haohao." At night, the two slept in the same room. "Junior brother, you can call me brother Lu." Brother Haohao sounds a bit strange, especially when there is food in my mouth. But in Tianchi Mansion, there are 5 brothers named Lu. Wouldn't it be inappropriate to call me brother Haohao? Well, that's right. Then you can call me that. Lu Yuan asked with a smile, "Brother Haohao, why do you go to bed so early? Aren't you practicing?" "Hee, my family is from Shangqing town at the foot of the mountain. I went up the mountain just to avoid a storm. After the family affairs are settled, I may go down the mountain." "Junior brother, you are so hardworking, are you planning to enter the inner gate?" "Of course, I heard that the inner gate has less work and more time, and you can go to the 2nd floor of the Imperial Book Pavilion. The key is that you may also learn thunder magic." Not bad, you are quite quick to find out. Then work hard. There will be a big competition in the sect at the end of every year. As long as you can show enough strength, it is not difficult to enter the inner sect." "Brother, when you say show strength, do you mean to be the first in the competition?" "Well, it may be a bit troublesome to get the first place. In fact, you just need to show enough progress every time and be seen by the master." "Is it a competition between the inner and outer sects together?" "Of course it is separate." "I see, thank you for your advice, brother." You're welcome, hee. After the chat, looking at the fat brother who was snoring in less than 5 minutes, Lu Yuan smiled, crossed his legs and closed his eyes, and the next moment, a light golden light shone from his body. Chapter 84, Kung Fu and Competition. You are listening at NovelFull.audio. Longhu Mountain Golden Light Mantra is the iconic method of Zhang Tianchi Mansion. While practicing, it can not only temper life, but also produce protective golden light. This is very similar to the method of escaping light, but the difference is that escaping light can only form a fixed shield, while golden light spreads around the body, but can be deformed at will through practice, collecting energy to protect the body and releasing it to attack the enemy. Lu Yuan closed his eyes and carefully experienced the process of tempering life with the golden light mantra. The closer to the essence of anything, the easier it is to modify. In contrast, he found that when practicing the golden light mantra, the positive state he entered was indeed closer to nature than the escaping light, but it was only closer. Lu Yuan could easily reach the same frequency with the heaven and earth with his own understanding. Taiwan Novel Network. Therefore, in his eyes, both the golden light mantra and the escaping light had significant flaws. Without any hesitation, Lu Yuan picked up the inspiration that he had put aside on the train last time. He combined the golden light mantra with the escape light and rededuced a more perfect tempering ritual. Then he made a major change to his own eternal life secret. The core of the 5 elements yin and yang remained unchanged, added sexual life tempering, retained the golden light effect, and at the same time integrated the 5 elements of yin and yang rotation into the changes in the golden light on the body surface. This is actually not difficult. The golden light is a byproduct of tempering sexual life, and it is the light of sexual life combination. The changes in the 5 elements of yin and yang come from the adjustment of the practice to itself. Lu Yuan only needs to reasonably adjust the ritual meridians. When running, tempering and adjustment are carried out at the same time, and it can be done as a complete system. After that, Lu Yuan also made synchronous modifications to the eternal life visualization method according to the latest meridian ritual route in the body, ensure that when the practice is running, the visualization method can also start synchronously to enhance the training of personal sexual skills. The reason for this is that in addition to the training brought by the techniques, life skills also have the bonus of national martial arts in the future. In order to ensure that the sexual skills are not left behind, some means must be added. In this way, Lu Yuan's subsequent practice becomes extremely simple, no longer need to sit cross-legged for a long time, but just like the second stage, keep yourself in sync with the world at all times. With the automatic operation of the techniques, his life skills, chi volume, and sexual skills, that is, essence, chi, and spirit, can grow simultaneously. After completing this series of modifications, the 1.2 version of Chongqing Ju is officially released. Lu Yuan couldn't help but curl up his lips, and his heartbeat began to speed up. He didn't hesitate and immediately began to practice the latest techniques. The next moment, the brand new experience made Lu Yuan couldn't help but take a deep breath, as if the old car had a heart change and had a whole beauty treatment. The feeling of high-speed galloping and becoming a handsome man again came back again. However, just as Lu Yuan felt the joy of the simultaneous growth of essence, chi, and spirit, he was disturbed by the humming sound of his roommate Lu Haohao. He frowned and opened his eyes, and then he was stunned. He saw the whole room was colorful, and he was the light source, and the 5-colored light around him was shining like a marquee. This is my golden light. Lu Yuan's face turned black and he quickly turned it off. He couldn't use it. If he went to war with the enemy, the golden light would be turned on like this, and those who didn't know would think that he was going to pull people to dance together. Lu Yuan didn't expect that 1.2 would be upgraded to 1.3 so quickly. A quarter of an hour later, when he started the technique again and manifested the golden light, it was no different from the ordinary golden light spell. But if you look closely, you can find that his golden light seems to be flowing all the time. After another control, the golden light was restrained to protect the internal organs, and the technique still worked normally. Very good, perfect. Lu Yuan took the opportunity to compare the golden light spell. At the same time, the effect of life skill training is twice that of golden light mantra, the effect of sex skill is 3 times that of golden light mantra, and the speed of chi increase is also 3 times that of golden light mantra. This is when the skill is not running on its own. Among them, life skill is slightly weak, but national martial arts training can make up for it, because the body protecting golden light is integrated into the changes of the 5 elements of yin and yang. Under the condition of the mutual generation of the 5 elements, the intensity of the golden light is also increased by more than 3 times, and like the big slap, even if it is damaged, it can be repaired by itself. As soon as these data came out, Lu Yuan had a clear positioning of the advantages and disadvantages of his own eternal life secret skill. In terms of magic and means alone, it can only be regarded as average. But if it is used as the basis of enlightenment, it can be ranked in the ranks of wonderful skills at this moment. If this kind of skill information is spread, Lu Yuan will not be at peace even if he stays in the Tianshi mansion. Sure enough, we still have to seize the time and speed up development. The next morning, Lu Haohao opened his eyes in a daze and found that Lu Yuan had disappeared. He pushed open the door in his cloth shoes and saw Lu Yuan standing in the yard, doing the standing posture. Good morning, junior brother. Ah. Lu Haohao yawned and smacked his lips. Lu Yuan did not speak immediately, but slowly stood up, opened his mouth and spit out a stream of white silk flying 3 meters away. Lu Haohao was startled and spit a few times, then he remembered that it was Mei, and asked in surprise, "Junior brother, is this your family's kung fu?" "Yes, it is a method specially used to cultivate life skills." "Senior brother Haohao, do you want to try it?" Lu Yuan wiped the sweat off his face and turned back to invite. Lu Haohao shook his head decisively, the fat on his face swaying. There are such skills in the sect, I haven't practiced much, a golden light spell is enough, let's go to the morning class first, and then have breakfast. Lu Yuan followed, Brother Haohao, don't you need to wash up? Anyway, I will recite the mouth-cleansing spell later, why bother? Lu Yuan was in awe after hearing this, and saw that the other party was yawning again. Brother, didn't you sleep well last night? Hee, it's okay, but it's a pity. What's a pity? You don't understand. Brother Haohao is bullying me because I'm young. Well, of course not. It's just that I dreamed of a fairy bathing last night. Unfortunately, at the moment when the beauty came out of the bath, the colorful clouds shone in the sky, covering the key and blinding my eyes. It's a pity. Hey, brother, you have a lot of distracting thoughts and need to calm down. That's right, brother, don't tell others. Of course not. Point two figures, one big and one small, one tall and one short, walked towards the morning class hall while chatting. The daily life in Tianshi Mansion is actually relatively monotonous. After a few days, Lu Yuan has completely adapted. Get up early for morning exercises, you can be lazy occasionally, followed by the inner door brother leading the morning class, reciting Taoist classics such as Tao Te Ching and Qing Jing Jing, in the morning. In addition to personal practice, most of the time, we also have to learn Taoist theories, spells, alchemy, Taoist rituals and ritual procedures. Daily cleaning of the courtyard, sorting scriptures, and receiving visitors are also indispensable. In the afternoon, in addition to continuing the work in the morning, we have to be self-sufficient and participate in some agricultural activities, such as farming and breeding. It is not until the evening that everyone has time to have dinner together, take a short break, and talk about the mountains. After nightfall, there are evening classes and night patrols. To be honest, it has nothing to do with the free and easy life in the vernacular novels. Fortunately, Lu Yuan's skills do not require meditation and can be operated automatically all the time, otherwise it is estimated that there is not enough time to practice. During this period, Lu Yuan found that although the inner and outer gates ate together, there was still an invisible barrier, and they were naturally divided into three circles, an inner gate, an outer gate, and Zhang Zhiwei. Time is like flowing water, and half a year. Later, 1921 AD, the 10th year of the Republic of China, the 21st day of the first lunar month, in addition to the approaching spring festival, Lu Yuan's first competition within the sect after joining is also about to begin. Chapter 85 There is a problem. You are listening at novelfull.audio. After half a year of practice, Lu Yuan has changed a lot. Not only has he grown taller, but his martial arts have also returned to the realm of transformation, and it is not just a simple realm improvement. The physical training has also reached the same level, and the long-standing Dan realm research has also been put on the agenda. After returning to the realm of transformation, Lu Yuan felt the difference between the human body and the two worlds more clearly. It is mainly manifested in basic qualities and potential, such as blood, muscles, bones, training gains, stress response, etc. It's like low-end and high-end, inferior and genuine, thinking of the complete sense of complementation that flowed into the body when crossing the border. It may be related to this aspect. Back to the topic, in half a year, his personal life skills and his own chi have increased greatly. With the automatic operation of the exercises every day, he has at least 3 times more practice time than others. In addition, the efficiency of the eternal life secret training is also 3 times that of the conventional golden light curse. After a rough calculation, Lu Yuan's gains in the past 6 months are equivalent to the efforts of the same talent for 4.5 years. Moreover, the recast body has much better aptitude than in the world of Xiaowao. It is not clear how much worse it is compared with the numerical monster like Zhang Zhiwei, but SwordWielder's words perfect spirit and full of energy, perfect foundation of Taoism can definitely highlight its weight. In addition to these basic improvements, Lu Yuan also took the time to modify the 3-in-1 inner observation method. Now Lu Yuan has removed the prefix, leaving only the 2 words observation method. The latest observation method can not only look inward, but also see through the outside world. His original keen insight due to the bonus of comprehension has become even sharper with the blessing of the current observation method. The improvement of vision and the capture of details have made Lu Yuan's channels for obtaining world information wider. When sparring with the enemy, the opponent only has a slight desire to move, and he can simulate the specific movements in his mind. Some external martial arts, he can almost see through them at a glance without subsequent deduction, even including the unique breathing rhythm. If he deduces a little, he can also explore the hidden direction of the internal qi. It is said that this is already very strong, but Lu Yuan is not satisfied. This is still far from the effect he wants. While he is still developing in the sect for a few years, he needs to hurry up and prepare. Therefore, the second floor of the Imperial Book Pavilion, which only inner disciples can enter, became his goal, because there is a Taoist magic method there, the Dharma Eye. He still doesn't know the specific effect, but he can continue to improve his observation method. Without a good insight method, how can he borrow the skills of hundreds of families in the future? After the observation method is Qigong. In fact, there is no such thing as Qigong in this world, only body skills and escape methods. Body skills are the most common. With the improvement of life cultivation, the increase of basic panel values will naturally increase people's speed, strength, nerve reaction and other aspects. When fighting, with the blessing of qi, flying over the eaves and walls, dodging and moving are all very easy. If combined with some special techniques, it will have some mysterious meaning. As for the escape method, the most typical ones are the Sichuanhuda Sex Guiming fire escape and the Hunan Jello Mountains Dixingxian. The former can use flames to jump through space and reach a distance of 100 miles in an instant, while the latter merges into the earth and comes and goes freely, which is very convenient. And Lu Yuan's Qigong is not among these two. In other words, it has surpassed the body method, but has not yet reached the level of escape. This is the rare benefit brought by the low-level martial arts world. Due to the low energy level, the original creatures can only conduct in-depth research on the hand and foot moves and the use of internal strength, which happens to be what the high-energy world does not care about. Just like a rich man is far less meticulous than the working class in the distribution of 100 yuan, in this regard, the greater the difference in the world energy level, the more obvious the contrast. In the past 6 months, Lu Yuan has made more detailed development of Taiyunyu. Based on the high activity of qi itself, short-distance maneuvers, vertical stepping in the air, and long-distance running have all made great progress. He planned to upgrade it to a real escape method. At the current level, it is far from possible to step on the clouds, but he can still try to take advantage of the power of heaven and earth to soar up and be a fast kite. Finally, during this period, he had a good relationship with his fat senior brother Lu Haohao. This is a very ordinary fat man with a kind heart, good mouth, lazy, poor self-control, easy to be nervous, timid and cowardly, and even a little wretched, but he gave Lu Yuan a very kind feeling, because most young people in the future are like this. When getting along with each other, he felt as if he had returned to his previous life and met his college roommate, especially after getting familiar with each other. He seemed more heartless and easily satisfied. Sometimes when facing Lu Yuan's teasing, he would shake his fleshy face and emphasize to Lu Yuan that his Hao is the hero. How can you ordinary people understand what the two heroes do? To describe it in one sentence, compared with the world, I am stupid, but I am very happy. Lu Yuan naturally cherishes such rare friends, because it is very comfortable to be with them, especially in this slightly dull and boring life. In fact, in the past 6 months of the inner and outer sects, he has only made one friend, Lu Haohao. On weekdays, he also smiles and talks with other senior brothers, but that's it. In terms of character alone, the 35 outer sect disciples have no major problems. This may be the result of the old Tianchu's inspection and selection. They treat Lu Yuan as a child, and Lu Yuan thinks they are just better than passers-by, just like those unfamiliar classmates in college classes. For socializing within the sect, Lu Yuan never thought of taking the initiative. Even for Zhiwei, he believes in a saying, strength makes charm, and strong people appreciate each other. I won't come. In the early morning in the yard, Lu Haohao supported his legs and waved his hands repeatedly. Junior brother, I have reached my limit, let's stop here today. Lu Yuan has long been accustomed to it, and said without turning his head, senior brother, it hasn't been half a minute, where is your promise last night? Lu Haohao sat on the ground, and there was no embarrassment on his fat face, probably forgotten yesterday. TSK, can senior brother Hao sing a song? Huh? Of course not, why do you ask this, junior brother? It's okay, I always feel that senior brother Hao's words have a rhythm and meaning. Hee, right, my parents also said so, thinking that I speak better than singing. Lu Yuan laughed. Senior brother yesterday just said that he wanted to lose weight and give his family a surprise, but he gave up like this. What will he say when he goes home? Ha! Lu Hao waved the sleeves of his Taoist robe to fan away the weeds around him, and said indifferently, of course, the food in our Tianchi mansion is nourishing, not to mention that the letter from home said that he could not go back for the time being. I thought that I couldn't show my family about losing weight at the moment, so it would be better to talk about it later and accumulate motivation for now. Great! Senior brother Hao really has unique insights, and I will learn from you again. Hee, you're welcome, how are you preparing for today's competition? It's ready, but there is a question. What's the question? Just curious, how many people can you fight at most in this internal competition? Lu Hao. Chapter 86. It seems that I failed to force out your golden light. You are listening at novelfull.audio. After breakfast, all the disciples of the Zhengyi Tianchi mansion gathered in the courtyard outside the Tianchi temple. 2 big matches. First, the 36 outer disciples, 35 plus Lu Yuan, competed, and then the 6 inner disciples competed. 2 Taisha chairs were placed at the north main entrance of the courtyard. Old Tianchi Zhang Jingqing and an even older Taoist took their seats. Then, 6 cushions were placed on the left side of the courtyard, which were seats for the inner disciples, and 36 cushions were placed on the right side of the courtyard, which were seats for the outer disciples. Unlike the pre-Qin period, when the right was respected, this order is similar to the arrangement of statues in the temple. In the crowd, Lu Yuan, who was sitting cross-legged, asked Lu Hao next to him, who is the Taoist next to Master? Why haven't I seen him on weekdays? You mean Uncle Wenzhong? He is our Master's senior brother. He rarely shows up on weekdays, and there are special people to take care of him, but he will show up every year for the big competition. Lu Hao explained in a low voice. Since entering the venue, he has begun to shrink his head and pretend to be good. Lu Yuan nodded. There was no explanation for this in the comics. After the old Taoist priest sat down in front of him, he looked around and frowned. Zhang Zhiwei. Where are you? Hey. Master, I'm here. In the corner of the courtyard in the distance, Zhang Zhiwei's Taoist robe was disheveled, and he was smiling flatteringly and raising his hand. Master, it's the same if I watch from here, you see. Evil creature, that the old Taoist priest roared as usual. Get over here, that the old Taoist priest Wenzhong laughed and showed his sparse teeth. Hey. Here I come. Zhang Zhiwei, who was sullen, didn't dare to talk back and moved to his seat reluctantly. Just after sitting down for a while, his eyes, which were already narrowed, became even smaller. I don't know if he was meditating or sleeping. The old Taoist priest couldn't help but look at him and announced the start of the competition on the spot. The one-on-many match that Lu Yuan imagined did not happen. The competition chose the lottery method. 2 people will play each time. If there are 36 people, there will be 6 rounds in total. There will be 3 rounds in which 1 person will be given a bye. After 6 rounds, the first place in the outer sect competition will be decided. As for the people who draw lots, it is the old Tianchi and his senior brother. Each of them draws 1 person to enter the competition. The winner advances and the loser is eliminated. In the first game, Tian Jinzhong came forward with the lottery box. 2 names were drawn immediately, Fang Daio versus Lu Hao. Lu Yuan noticed that when he heard his name, the fat senior brother next to him shuddered obviously. Then he went on stage with a fat face. The fists in the field ended, and 2 balls of golden light lit up and collided. There was no pattern in Lu Hao's moves, as if he was competing with the opponent for the strength of the golden light. A minute later, he patted his butt and came down. Although he lost, he was full of energy, as if he had unloaded a heavy burden. Lu Yuan felt that it was a bit of a joke, so he approached and asked, Brother Hao, why did you collide so roughly just now? What do you mean? Why didn't you fight and counterattack? Didn't we counterattack? Lu Haohao raised a hand, my palm was clearly blocked by his mountain-carrying arm, and then. Lu Yuan leaned back slightly and stared at the other's fat face seriously. Hey, junior brother, didn't senior brother say that I only practiced one golden light mantra? But during morning exercise, senior brother clearly practiced Tianchi fist. Tianchi fist. Isn't it used for fitness? Can it also be used for actual combat? Lu Haohao's fat face was puzzled. After hearing this, Lu Yuan opened and closed his mouth, and his eyes subconsciously looked at the old Tianchi. The other party didn't show any expression on his face, and made a few dry comments, and then started to draw the second group. No, senior brother, you are so straightforward, how could master? Hee, you want to say how he would accept me personally, right? Lu Haohao pulled his pants under his buttocks, lowered his voice and said proudly, I'll tell you secretly, the money for the renovation of the Tianchi Hall 2 years ago, was paid by my family. Hiss. Lu Yuan clasped his fists again solemnly, senior brother, scare me. Hey. Keep it a secret, keep it a secret. Fortunately, the subsequent competitions were much more normal, at least the disassembly of the moves was similar, but it was to this extent, no wonder the inner door guys couldn't lift their spirits. Zhang Zhiwei's posture was still the same as when he sat down before, but Lu Yuan knew that he fell asleep. The drowsy competition lasted for an unknown period of time. Finally, Taoist Wen Zhong held a note in his hand and read out a name, Lu Yuan. There was no noise in the field, nor was there the whispering and attention of other protagonists when they appeared on the stage, but there were only a group of lazy eyes watching the excitement. Lu Yuan stood up. How could the promised inner door competition be so boring? So listless? He decided to heat up the game, thinking in his heart, he had already arrived at the field, and the senior brother opposite him took his position amid the teasing of others. Junior brother, come. Let the senior brother take good care of you. The other party waved at him, as if he was playing with a child. Lu Yuan thought about it, and it seemed that he had never shown his skills in front of others in the past 6 months. What are you thinking about, junior brother? The other party clapped his hands. Be focused when sparring. Come on. Senior brother, don't you open the golden light? No, come, see if you can force out my golden light. Lu Yuan smiled, then, senior brother, be careful. After speaking, Lu Yuan took a step forward, and when he appeared again, he was already beside the other party. It seemed that the wind blew up the corner of his clothes. Plop. The senior brother fainted on his back, and the smile of encouragement just now seemed to remain on his face. The scene fell silent for a moment, and you could hear a needle dropping, leaving only the sound of the cold wind stirring the dead branches on the top of the tree. Many people's inherent perceptions were shattered like glass at this moment. When they looked at Lu Yuan again, they no longer looked at a child as before. Senior brother, Cheng Zheng. It seems that I failed to force out your golden light. A light word made the blood of all the outer disciples surge. What's the meaning? Ridicule. Still pretending. The atmosphere in the field suddenly lost the relaxation it had before. Even the inner disciples were now in high spirits, no longer as casual and relaxed as before. Without him, they couldn't see the speed just now. This time, Lu Yuan wins. The old heavenly master's voice sounded at this time, still as calm as before. He announced the result, but to many people's ears, it sounded like a formal introduction. Slowly walk back to your original position. On the way, all the outer disciples looked at him with unnatural expressions. Some were shocked, some were dissatisfied, some were stunned, and some were confused. Just like in a bad class, a dark horse suddenly appears in the monthly exam, and then the other person said in front of the whole class, I'm sorry, it's my fault, I passed the exam, I will remember to give up the comprehensive subjects next time. Score. Of course, only one person reacted differently than the others. Lu Haohao's eyes were shining at this moment. After Lu Yuan sat down, he immediately came to his side and said, Junior brother, what you said just now is so touching, especially your tone. There is a touch of regret in the elegance, and there is a hint of regret in it. You're expecting again. How on earth did you say it? Senior brother Haohao, I thought you would care more about my strength. Should I care about this? Lu Yuan stared at the other party. Actually, can you care about it? Lu Haohao suddenly scratched his head, then, how about I say it again? Brother Haohao, we've had enough shocks today, let's continue watching the game. That's fine. Chapter 87 I have learned a lesson. You are listening at NovelFull.audio. The effect of Lu Yuan's appearance on the stage just now was very direct, perhaps he didn't want to be looked down upon, so the subsequent competitions were obviously more intense. Sitting on the chair in the north of the courtyard, the old Taoist Wen Zhong looked at Zhang Jingqing and said in surprise, "Junior brother, what's the situation with that child?" Seeing his senior brother asking, the old Taoist could only whisper about SwordWielder sending someone here half a year ago. Half a year has passed. Do you plan to accept him into the inner sect after this competition? I hope readers will remember our domain name Taiwan Novel Network. Zhang Jingqing shook his head and said nothing. Why, do you dislike that little guy? If so, how about letting him worship here as a Taoist? Hearing this, Zhang Jingqing immediately couldn't sit still. Brother, don't joke. That kid has already worshipped me as his master and is my apprentice. I have already made arrangements for him. Don't get involved. Oh, I knew it. The first round of the competition ended at some point, 18 people advanced to the second round. Lu Yuan's name was relatively high this time. When he took the stage again, the whole audience's attention was instantly achieved. The reason for this is that a guy who squinted his eyes and slept before also paid attention this time. The opponent was one of the 5 brothers surnamed Lu. There was no teasing. After entering the arena, the opponent directly lit up with golden light, bent his body slightly, lowered his lower body, and looked ready for battle. Brother Lu, will you let me make the first move? I'll do it. The opponent was decisive and took the initiative to rush towards Lu Yuan. After getting close, his left arm was on guard in front of his chest, and his right palm was attached with golden light, cutting through the air and cutting across Lu Yuan's neck. The expected block did not appear. Lu Yuan did not even open the golden light. He just took a step back with his left foot and leaned back slightly to avoid the attack. Then he grabbed the opponent's outer arm with his left hand and pushed it back. While the opponent's body was lifted up, he slapped his right hand at the center of his chest, and the right foot that remained in place tripped again. The opponent flew out, and in mid-air, the golden light seemed to short-circuit, flashing a few times and completely extinguished, with a thump. The senior brother surnamed Lu fell hard, but except for a grin, there was nothing wrong. Senior brother, thank you. The disciples around were confused. A simple trip and fall was easy to understand, but what the hell was that slap to extinguish the golden light? Oh. You have mastered the golden light mantra so thoroughly, Jingqing, did you teach you this? When Zhong looked at his junior brother, the old Tiancher's face rarely turned red, but fortunately, his curly beard covered it, and he remained steady. It's just a simple tip. Oh, is that so? Not wanting to hear the other party speak again, the old Tiancher announced the result directly. This time, Lu Yuan wins. Looking at Lu Yuan's easy exit, not to mention the mentality of the outer disciples, the inner disciples have already caused a wave. Someone asked, can you do that shot? Yes, but I can't guarantee that the person will be fine. Nonsense, if you don't care about people, who can't do it? If I remember correctly, our junior brother is only 8 years old. My Tiancher mansion, this is another monster genius. Brother, what do you think? Tian Jinzhong asked Zhang Zhiwei next to him at this time. Well, it's a bit interesting, and his life skills are not bad. I'm afraid that the first place in the outer sect this time will be taken by this little junior brother. Zhang Zhiwei rarely commented, and seemed to be interested. Brother, do you think he can beat Mingshan? Tian Jinzhong was surprised. You'll know if you keep watching. The number of people left in the field is decreasing, and the speed is naturally increasing. Lu Yuan fought 3 more games later, and basically broke the golden light with one move, and then lost his fighting power, which made him feel bored and couldn't even heat up. The disciples who were a little indignant just now turned off the fire. If the strength is only a little different, it doesn't matter if you express your attitude, but if the difference is too far, you really don't even have the heart to catch up. Obviously, Lu Yuan's performance on the stage one after another completely convinced some people. there are only 3 people in the 5th game, and Lu Yuan is a bai. The 6th game is the battle between the last 2 people in the outer sect. One is Lu Yuan, the last disciple to enter the sect, the youngest, but the most powerful disciple of the Tianxia mansion. The other is the eldest brother of the outer sect, Ming Shan, who is 37 years old, with average talent, but steady and steady. He has practiced the Golden Light mantra for more than 20 years, and is not inferior to the inner sect disciples at all, and even surpasses them. When the 2 entered the field, everyone was in high spirits, because they knew Ming Shan and knew his strength. Most of them looked at Lu Yuan, wanting to see how this dark horse junior brother would deal with it. In their eyes, this might be a battle of equal strength. Junior brother, I didn't expect you to be so hidden. It was the senior brothers who made a mistake. Ming Shan smiled honestly. Senior brother Ming Shan, is there a possibility that I didn't hide, but I just have too much work and don't have time to show it? Ming Shan was stunned, then touched his head and smiled, glanced in the direction of the old master, and didn't dare to take up the topic. Junior brother, why don't we go down and talk about it, and finish the exchange first? Of course, senior brother, let's start. Come on. Ming Shan's expression became solemn, and he recited the Golden Light, the mysterious sect of heaven and earth, the root of all chi, cultivate all the calamities, and prove my supernatural powers. After he closed his mouth, the heavy and solid golden light wrapped his whole body, and Ming Shan rushed to Lu Yuan like a golden man, bringing a gust of wind pressure. What a rigid application. After making a mental comment, he also moved. The distance between them was not far, and the 2 fought instantly, but it was not the expected head-on collision. Lu Yuan still did not open the golden light. His peak close-range skills made him swim around the opponent like a fish. He was not flustered or nervous at all, and walked leisurely. No matter how Ming Shan attacked, he seemed to always be in the blind spot of the opponent's attack. He slapped his palm from time to time, hitting the opponent's golden light, as if testing the strength. Little junior brother, be careful, Ming Shan reminded, and the golden light on his body suddenly deformed, and a big hand suddenly grabbed Lu Yuan. However, Lu Yuan just swayed left and right on the spot, and then dodged the big hand, and his body staggered to the blind spot beside the opponent. Another palm slap. Don't look down on me, junior brother. 2 big hands appeared at the shoulders at the same time, rolling up the wind, and slapped towards Lu Yuan. However, Lu Yuan's hand was faster. Bang! A force penetrated the heavy golden light and hit Ming Shan's body, interrupting his internal energy, which was originally running at a high speed. The grabbing hand disappeared instantly. Ming Shan just stood there in a daze, facing Lu Yuan sideways, as if he had not yet fully reacted. I. Lu Yuan retracted his hand and said with a little boredom, Brother Ming Shan, I don't mean to look down on you. I just want to use this method to prove to you that although the golden light is convenient, life is the foundation. Brother, you have such a solid foundation in life, why don't you develop and utilize it well? Excuse me, your martial arts and combat experience are really not comparable to your cultivation. It feels like you haven't even developed half of your strength. Just like at this moment, the brother whose golden light was broken has lost the consciousness to continue fighting. In fact, it's not just brother Ming Shan, it's also like this when sparring with other brothers. I remember that this golden light spell is a way to temper life, not a means to temper golden light. Why do you become worse than an ordinary person without golden light? That when these words came out, at least half of the people present were silent. Satisfaction flashed in the eyes of the old Tianxia and the old Taoist Zhang at the same time, and Zhiwei grinned. Junior brother, I. Ming Shan's mouth was a little dry, his expression was a little dazed, and he looked at the old master again. Seeing that he had no reaction, he said, I'm grateful. That the old master's voice announcing the result sounded, first place in the outer sect competition, Lu Yuan. That it was not until this moment that the disciples suddenly realized that this junior brother Lu Yuan had not even opened the golden light during the entire competition. Ignoring the shocked reactions of others, Lu Yuan, who won the first place, did not leave the field directly. Instead, he moved his eyes to the left and said with a smile, Master, it's rare for us to compete. I want to try with the inner sect brothers. Is that okay? Chapter 88, 3 years of continuous pressure. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The voice is not loud, but it is sharp. On the green brick floor of the courtyard, Yuan stood there. He was not tall and had a smile on his face, but it hurt the eyes of the disciples around him. There is nothing wrong with showing your excellence, being jealous. Bo Ren's face. Not humble enough. Don't know etiquette. Yuan doesn't care at all. It was just the evaluation given by some incompetent people behind his back, and he never had the habit of paying attention to the people behind him. His idea is simple: since someone likes to stay behind, he should always stay in the corner and look up at his back. Of course, if you really have the backbone, you can also try it in front of him. If it were an outsider, he would first praise him and then beat him to death. The reason is, I appreciate your courage, but I don't like your pretentious attitude. As the saying goes, a true man is one who can be punished by heaven, but a mediocre man who does not arouse others' jealousy. Pretending to be a pig and eating a tiger is fun once in a while, but if it happens every time, it's a debt. He always likes to keep things simple, straightforward conversations, open dialogues, and direct venting. He couldn't understand, he was already in a sect, there was no fatal crisis, and the environment was so favorable, so why should he be so timid? Show off boldly when you see the stage. What's more, there is clearly a heavenly master up there who is supporting me, so what are you afraid of? Well, that means Xuanhuan, one of the 6 inner sects, one of the 36 thieves in the future, the controller of the origin of the 8 wonders of Qi body, and a direct participant in the Jiaoshan rebellion. At this moment, he has not yet been given the surname Zhang and is still trying his best to hide his strength. He's not a bad person, but he doesn't trust anyone and is wary of everyone. He is worthy of the Heavenly Master's comment about him: there is a thief hiding in his heart. I originally thought that the other person, like me, was originally an outer sect, but who knew that he was originally an inner sect? What a fart to hide. He doesn't understand the meaning of the inner door. Only a mediocre person can be admitted into the inner sect. Identity is already a clear vision, but it is still deceiving oneself. Yuan didn't like such a person. Although the other person's character was related to his childhood experiences, it was none of his business. Likes and dislikes had nothing to do with right or wrong, only his mood. Yuan's unabashed emotions instantly stimulated several inner disciples. In that emotion, they did not feel jealousy or dissatisfaction, only eagerness to try and the pure expectation to compete with the masters. They are all in their prime of life. Under the excitement, 3 disciples immediately stood up. Coincidentally, he didn't know any of these 3, and they were minor characters in the original work. The remaining 3 people, the good old Tian Jinzhong, looked at the master with some confusion. The big-eared thief Zhang was still hiding behind him. The lazy Zhang Zhiwei was interested, but not much. His eyes had already jumped out of the younger generation. Junior brother, are you really coming? Senior brother's slap is very hard. A tall and thin inner disciple with long hair said. In fact, they did not object to Yuan's challenging behavior. On the contrary, his strength and direct attitude made people like him very much. The hard in the other party's words was not a joke, it was a reminder to Yuan of the gap in life cultivation between the 2 sides. They were not as rigid as Mingshan. No matter how strong their skills were, they were not as straightforward as their basic values. Like a brick, you broke into 6 pieces with 1 palm, which shows that you have good control over your strength. But in other people's hands, it's like grabbing a piece of tofu. How do you beat it? Really, senior brother, when you say that, I'm looking forward to it even more. Yuan showed his white teeth and said, don't let me down. You've already said so, it's really hard to refuse such kindness. The tall and slender senior brother laughed. After a few brief exchanges, the atmosphere of confrontation in the field escalated again. Just when the tall and thin inner disciple took a step towards the field. Nonsense. The Heavenly Master finally spoke and glared at the 2 of them. Go back and sit down. You are so brave and ruthless, but your heart is impetuous. Go back and copy the Tai Shang Qing Jing Heart Sutra 3 times immediately. The originally tense atmosphere in the field was instantly deflated. Yuan was helpless, his master wouldn't give him a chance. Watching the 2 of them go back and sit down in anger, when Zhang looked at the old heavenly master with a smile but not a smile. What? Are you afraid that if he wins the inner sect again, he won't be able to suppress you anymore? Senior brother, the inner sect competition has begun, let's draw lots. Master Tian changed the topic without a blushing face or a heartbeat. The competition in the inner sect is indeed much more exciting, especially in terms of combat experience, but in Lu Yuan's opinion, it is just that. Although Tian Jinzhong is a good old man, his strength is ranked second among the six. No wonder he can compete with Zhang Zhiwei. When the conversation started, Zhang Huai remained silent and had nothing to say, until Zhang Zhiwei came on the stage. His opponent was the tall and thin senior brother from before. Lu Yuan is quite looking forward to the current strength of this future heavenly master. Unfortunately, sometimes the gap is so great that even martial arts competition seems so weak. As the battle began, the tall and thin senior brother took the lead in shining a golden light and launching an attack. It's true that he is very sophisticated in terms of attack and defense, but everything depends on who he is competing with. Opposite Zhang Zhiwei didn't attack, he just kept blocking and blocking. While fighting, his narrowed eyes even had time to peek at his master. The heavenly master didn't know what he thought of, and his face darkened for a while. Zhang Zhiwei muttered, "I've already done a lot of tricks, so master should be satisfied." After speaking, he once again pushed the opponent's wrist away. Instead of blocking it, he looked down at the opponent with narrowed eyes and slapped him smoothly. Then Lu Yuan saw that the golden light on the opponent's body was shattered by the slap, and the senior brother himself staggered and turned 3 times with the force, as if he had drunk fake wine and couldn't stand steadily. Finally, his legs tripped and he sat on the ground like a lost soul. Such an explosive scene was commonplace for all the disciples in the sect. Only Tian Jinzhong covered his forehead slightly and blocked his ears. Sure enough, the next second, the roar of the old master came. Evil obstacle. Zhang Zhiwei knelt down almost as a conditioned reflex, showing a flattering smile, waiting for the reprimand. Pucci, huff. The old master was so angry that he breathed rapidly. I asked you to respect my junior brother, and this is how you respect me? Seeing that the other disciple had not come back to his senses until now, he felt a pain in his liver, but think about it carefully. Compared with the past when he broke the Taoism of other disciples with one move, it is really an improvement now. Forget it, take it slowly. The old Tiancher waved his hand helplessly. Take your junior brother down. That while speaking, he glanced at Lu Yuan's direction inadvertently. There is another monster there. In fact, Lu Yuan did show excitement at this moment. Although the fight was short just now, whether it was dodging or counterattacking, it was all natural. It was a natural fighting instinct, which was countless times better than the way of practicing muscle memory. I really look forward to fighting him. There is no need to talk about the subsequent competition. Zhang Zhiwei won easily. The people around are used to it as if the vegetarian hall cooked white rice tonight. In contrast, Lu Yuan's rise as a dark horse has become the hottest topic in the Tiancher mansion for a long time. The reason for this, in addition to strength, is the attitude of the old Tiancher. With such a monstrous talent, the old Tiancher did not mention anything about entering the inner door. Naturally, related gossip is inevitable. Well, junior brother, don't worry. Master has his own considerations. He will not let a genius like you go. Maybe he is just waiting for an opportunity. Well, I'm not in a hurry. Lu Yuan said casually. In fact, he had expected this result. After all, Swordsman had reminded him when he left. What's more, he recalled the contents of the Taoist Dharma I in his mind, and Master also compensated him. However, Lu Yuan really didn't expect that Lu Haohao's casual words of comfort were really what he said. In 1922, the 11th year of the Republic of China, Lu Yuan once again ranked first in the outer sect, and the matter of entering the inner sect was fruitless. The old Tiancher compensated him with the complete 8 magic spells. Junior brother, it's okay. Good things take time. This may be Master's test for you. In 1923, the 12th year of the Republic of China, Lu Yuan crushed the first in the outer sect, and the matter of entering the inner sect was still fruitless. The old Tiancher compensated him with free access to the second floor of the Imperial Book Pavilion to consult the Taoist scriptures. Junior brother, it's okay. I didn't go back to Qingjia this year. I'll accompany you. In 1924, the 13th year of the Republic of China, Lu Yuan easily ranked first in the outer sect again. Junior brother, it's been 3 years. Have we been unlucky? You can't enter the inner sect, and I can't go home. Is it because we are not pious enough in our daily prayers? Brother, maybe it's different this time. What's the matter? Master wants to talk to me. Chapter 89 Fighting Zhang Zhiwei. You are listening at NovelFull.audio. Walking around the Heavenly Master Hall, we came to the old Heavenly Master's residence in the backyard. The red-painted wooden door was already open. When Lu Yuan arrived, he nodded to the little Taoist boy at the door, clasped his fists and shouted, "Master! Come in!" That the voice came from the inner room. After Lu Yuan entered the room, he saw the old Heavenly Master sitting cross-legged on the bed. The light from the wooden window beside him shone brightly on the bamboo mat on the bed. "Master, you are still sitting on the bed in broad daylight. How about I make a recliner for you tomorrow? It will definitely be comfortable." The old Heavenly Master's mouth twitched after hearing this. He was a little confused as to why the 2 evil disciples under his seat seemed so out of tune on weekdays. "Okay, stop talking nonsense. Do you know why I asked you to come this time? The matter of the inner door?" Lu Yuan asked tentatively. "I forced you to suppress you for 3 years. Do you have any resentment in your heart?" The old Heavenly Master did not answer. This rhetorical question seemed to be an admission. "I don't complain. After all, you compensate me every year. Except that I have more work to do than the inner sect brothers, the rest of the treatment is about the same." Lu Yuan said truthfully. "Really?" The old master stared at Lu Yuan and asked. "Does it count as depression?" Lu Yuan blinked. The old master decisively skipped the question. "With your talent and strength, you could have entered the inner sect 3 years ago. Do you know why I'm suppressing you like this?" "Master, of course, has a deep meaning. I'm asking you." "This," Lu Yuan scratched his face, "is it to temper my character?" "You can also think so," the old master did not deny. "Do you know what the left sect leader told me when you went up the mountain that year?" Lu Yuan listened and said nothing. "He said that you are extremely talented and born to be a cultivator, but it's just that your talent is too good, plus your past experience, you are too purposeful and flexible in doing things, and once you make up your mind, you will never look back. So you deliberately suppress me to temper my temper, and also want to see if I am sincere in my heart to become your disciple." Lu Yuan added. A trace of weirdness flashed across the old Tianchu's face, and he continued to remain serious. "Some things you just need to understand. I know you want to learn thunder magic, but do you know the meaning of thunder magic? Heir of Tianchu. In that case, do you still feel depressed that I suppressed you for 3 years? Master, I didn't want to be a Tianchu. Evil disciple." The old Tianchu's voice immediately rose. "Is that what I mean?" Lu Yuan decisively knelt down and smiled. "Master, calm down, I misunderstood. I'm not depressed anymore, hee. A similar scene made the old Tianchu's eyes twitch, but the two are different. One is crazy on the face, and the other is proud in the bones. In fact, there is another meaning behind the fact that I have suppressed you for 3 years." The old master continued, his eyes fixed on Lu Yuan. "Does your inner disciple Zhang Zhiwei know about this? I will now give you a task, to defeat him as your outer disciple." "What?" Lu Yuan leaned back slightly, with a shocked look on his face. "Master, that's my beloved brother." That the old master glared. "Why, you still can't do it?" "Ahem." Lu Yuan swallowed the 3 words "you have to pay more" and smiled again. "You should have said it earlier. Don't be careless, your senior brother has never taken real action. I understand that senior brother is very strong, but master, I have never taken real action either. Okay, I won't say any more. Remember to come to the woods in the back mountain after midnight tonight." "Okay." Watching Lu Yuan walk out of the room, the old Taoist priest recalled the conversation just now and couldn't help complaining. He should have noticed it. It's really impossible to teach. Thinking of this, he couldn't help but recall the scene when SwordWielder talked to him more than 3 years ago. "Master, I'm not afraid of you laughing at me. I feel that I can't teach that kid, but with his talent, I dare not let him enter the world alone, always afraid that he will accidentally go astray and the consequences will be disastrous." "What do you mean, Master Zhiwei?" "He doesn't want to come to Sanyi, but is determined to come to the Master's mansion. I think I really need to help him find a sect. I don't ask to change his character, but I just hope that a long life can leave a trace of ties in his carefree heart." "Master Zhiwei, is it a bit exaggerated?" "No, you will understand it soon after he enters the sect. If it is true as Master Zhiwei said, I can find a suitable playmate for this child." "Friendship? Aren't you afraid that the disciple will be influenced by this child?" "Others may have this possibility, but he won't." Thinking back to the present, the old master called the gatekeeper boy and asked him to call Zhang Zhiwei. On the other side, Yuan, who was walking towards his residence, was also thinking about the conversation just now. The old Taoist guess was right. Yuan did see that he was hiding something. Obviously, there must be other meanings for suppressing it for 3 years. Thinking of this, Lu Haohao's fat face suddenly popped up in his mind. He laughed and stopped thinking about it. What he was looking forward to now was the sparring in the evening. He had been waiting for almost 4 years, and it finally came. At night, the moon rested on the cloud's shoulders and quietly watched the earth. Yuan stepped on the grass leaves and came to the back mountain as promised. From a distance, he saw the old Taoist sitting on a big rock under the moonlight, and Zhang Zhiwei who was already waiting there. "Hey! Here you are, little junior brother." "Sorry, Master, senior brother, I'm late." "It's just past midnight, so it's not too late." The old Taoist priest looked at Yuan in position and asked, "Do you two have anything else to say before the fight?" The two looked at each other and laughed. "Just come. That's what I mean." The next moment, without any extra movements, the two disappeared at the same time and made contact in the field. Bang! The circular air wave instantly overwhelmed the surrounding grass leaves. Zhang Zhiwei glanced at Yuan's normal expression, and then noticed the cracked ground under his feet. "Junior brother, what a great force-dissipating skill." "Senior brother, be careful, it's not just force dissipating." Yuan smiled and reminded, and the fighting spirit began to ignite. Shua. Knowing Zhang Zhiwei's temperament, Yuan took the initiative to attack. The martial arts moves from the world of Xiaoao, which were honed to the peak of skills, began to show their fangs at this moment. With the physique that was much stronger, there seemed to be a whistling sound of wind and thunder when the moves were performed. In just 3 moves, Zhang Zhiwei was completely suppressed. His left rib and right neck were hit respectively. A force that penetrated his body was painful even with his current life skills. However, the attack continued. Every time Zhang Zhiwei wanted to counterattack, he would be interrupted. Every time he wanted to defend, he would be broken. Then there would be a palm, a punch, or a grab on him. The old master just watched his once invincible apprentice being pressed back step by step. There was shock on his bearded face, but it was not because Zhang Zhiwei was suppressed, but because of Yuan's actual combat moves, which seemed to integrate hundreds of schools. Each move was extremely precise and capable, and even with his eyes, he was amazed. As for Zhang Zhiwei, he knew this apprentice too well. As he thought, even though he was suppressed a little miserably, there was no urgency on Zhang Zhiwei's face. On the contrary, the excited smile was constantly expanding, and the squinting eyes had already opened, with a fiery fighting spirit in the pupils. "Junior brother, be careful." Chapter 90, Fighting Zhang Zhiwei 2. You are listening at NovelFull.audio. As Zhang Zhiwei finished speaking, the force and speed of his attack suddenly increased. Bang! Yuan was forcibly pushed back more than 10 meters with one move. As soon as his feet landed, Zhang Zhiwei's palm was already chasing him. He crushed with speed and strength and pressed down ruthlessly. Yuan instantly saw the flaw, and with a standard elbow around his body, he blocked Zhang Zhiwei's attack and attacked the opponent's waist. Dong! The dull sound seemed to hit the tough stone wall. I hope readers will remember our domain name Taiwan Novel Network. Zhang Zhiwei just shook his body slightly, and his backhand was a sharp downward slash, and the airflow seemed to be cut at this moment. Now it was Lu Yuan's turn to dodge. His steps were staggered, and the speed was almost too fast to catch. After all, there is still a big gap in life cultivation. Lu Yuan has only been training for 3.5 years. Even if his skills are special, it is equivalent to about 31 years of hard training for the same gifted person. It is not a problem to catch up with the middle-aged and young generation, but Zhang Zhiwei, who is 24 years old this year, has already caught up with the old generation. If he continues to fight like this, he can't beat him, and he can't catch him. Of course, there is also the reason that he has not yet entered the Dan realm of national martial arts, which has caused his life skills to fall behind slightly. He has deduced the way to practice in the Dan realm, but it is different from the first 3 realms. It only develops the basic qualities of the human body. The span of the Dan realm is a bit large. In his speculation, this change is like an ordinary warrior entering the innate realm. There will be a qualitative change, but it is also very dangerous. After Lu Yuan deduced it, he has not tried it. He is waiting to practice after getting the threefold reverse life. This is safe. But he is not without a way to spar now. Brother, you should be careful too. The next moment, Zhang Zhiwei noticed that the air around him suddenly became sticky. His speed was also forcibly slowed down, and Lu Yuan got close again, attacking and defending in different positions, and crushing. Is this Tai Chi power? It doesn't seem like it. Zhang Zhiwei was curious. The old Tianshi who was watching the game on the sidelines frowned. Is this a Qi game? No, it was just a superficial simulation of the Qi game through the spirit. This is amazing enough. What is a Qi game? It is a closed and fixed pattern formed at a specific time or place, and this pattern is generally closed by Qi, similar to a four-dimensional formation. Once an external object or person enters this Qi game, his fate will be impacted to varying degrees. Only by acting according to the correct rules and following the pattern in the Qi game can he avoid being affected by it. Lu Yuan naturally didn't understand what Qi game was. This was his 5 elements yin and yang field. After covering Zhang Zhiwei, he suppressed the opponent again. Junior brother, is this an innate ability? Note 1. No, it's a kind of sexual skill. I understand that the meaning of the conversation between the two is very simple. Now we are competing for life skills. If you use supernatural powers or magic, then I will use them too. Since it's not, let's continue the fight. After several unsuccessful attempts to break free, Zhang Zhiwei stopped struggling and looked serious. He just wore the shackles and fought with Lu Yuan in close combat, although he was still being scratched, but Lu Yuan was surprised to find that Zhang Zhiwei's close combat skills were improving rapidly. After discovering this, Lu Yuan's eyes flashed with praise and began to deliberately feed the opponent with moves. The moves in the martial classic were used by Lu Yuan in full. Zhang Zhiwei noticed this at the first time. Junior brother. Brother, I am born with intelligence. I can learn hundreds of martial arts at a glance and master them at a glance. I have traveled abroad and watched many martial arts competitions. I have created a set of freehand martial arts classics. It is not worth much. Although my life is strong today, my skills are really terrible. In order to avoid the unpleasantness of the future competition, I will make up for it. Ha ha ha. In this case, come on. Zhang Zhiwei was not hypocritical at all. The two fought again. Lu Yuan withdrew the domain, and Zhang Zhiwei also reduced his strength. In an instant, they changed from sparring to preaching, but even so, in the eyes of ordinary people, there was still a shadow, and the two people were almost moving on the ground. The old Taoist priest next to him was helpless and closed his eyes directly, after a stick of incense. The two stopped at the same time. Zhang Zhiwei's eyes lit up. Junior brother. Your martial arts code is a bit scary. Have you learned it? It only takes a week to master it. Then let's move on to other things. Well, although Junior brother's life is not as good as mine in the previous fight, his moves and the magical power field are extremely extraordinary. If we continue to compete, it will only be a stalemate. How about a draw? I'm fine. Then next, senior brother will use his skills. Zhang Zhiwei raised his right hand, and a long line of golden light was pulled out by him. Junior brother, be careful. As soon as the voice fell, the golden whip was like a poisonous snake flicking its tail. In an instant, it crossed dozens of meters and whipped towards Lu Yuan. Facing the attack, Lu Yuan did not dodge, and the flowing golden light seemed to have life and seeped out, completely wrapping him. Zhang Zhiwei's golden whip whipped on it, like a stone thrown into the lake, stirring up waves, but there was no instability or damage. From a distance, the golden light looked like flowing water, giving off a sense of vitality. Junior brother, your golden light is extraordinary. Zhang Zhiwei exclaimed. As for the old heavenly master, he had already seen it when he checked Lu Yuan's progress in cultivation. As the saying goes, the master leads the way, but the practice is up to the individual. The special golden light is not uncommon among the disciples of the Tianchi mansion. After the practice is profound, they will naturally make fine adjustments according to their own situation. Therefore, the original old Tianchi was only slightly surprised and did not intend to explore. Brother, you have tried it, be serious, come on. Zhang Zhiwei smiled, and a little of the golden light around him was separated, turning into countless golden light spots floating around him. The next moment, as he thought about it, he attacked Lu Yuan like a machine gun. Although he was confident in his own defense, Lu Yuan was unwilling to use the golden light to resist it, so he saw him raise his palm, and the power of the field was concentrated in front, increasing to the maximum. When the light spot flew within 20 meters of Lu Yuan, it was like the river water met the reef and slid to the sides on its own initiative. Puff puff puff. There was a sound of a tree being pierced behind him. When the golden light spot passed, Lu Yuan's raised gesture suddenly changed. A golden sword energy shot out. Zhang Zhiwei narrowed his eyes, sensing danger, but he did not move. He let the sword energy break the golden light and pass through his left shoulder, leaving a little blood. Lu Yuan's move was very accurate, only scratching the skin and flesh on his shoulder. The purpose was to show his strength, and the golden light with the 5 elements of mutual generation was several times stronger than the pure internal energy and evolving sword energy. Zhang Zhiwei did not really care about the injury. He turned around and looked at the stones and trees behind him that continued to be pierced, and said in amazement, "It's amazing, junior brother, the golden light is obviously of average strength, but you use it to such a degree of defense and attack. You are right, senior brother really needs to be more serious." After speaking, the golden light like a wolf smoke rose into the sky. Note 1. When powerful practitioners combine, there is a chance that they will produce offspring with their own skills, who are called innate extraordinary people. Such people are usually not allowed to practice other skills, with occasional exceptions. However, most of the sects such as Longhu Mountain are acquired practitioners of Qi.